Touch that.
No, it's on.
Some little
Got it.
housekeeping. Please do not take pictures or videos. Only the videographer is allowed to do that at this meeting. Please take a minute now and turn off your cell phones or other noisemakers. Oh, you already did it. Yay, look at you. All right. And now, my pleasure to announce and welcome our president, Vicky Assunto.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How
Good morning.
exciting. What an exciting morning this is. Table Topics Contest. Woo! Isn't it fun? Are we having fun yet?
Yeah.
Yes, and we'll check in with you at 8:30 to see if you have had fun. Well, we're going to get right down to it. No prayer and pledge, so I just invite everyone to, take a deep breath and pray. That's all I'm going to say. I'd like to introduce up our Toastmaster of the day. He is a born leader. We figured he might have just been born with a clipboard and a pin case thing in his pocket. He brings his A game to every situation. I know he is a wonderful dad, and he is a true mover and shaker. Let's welcome up our contest chair, Tom Ginsberg.
Jake just walked in the room. Contestant number 11. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 2016 Santa Cruz Downtown Toastmasters Table Topics Contest. Yay! We have not had a Table Topics Contest for 4 years or so when we went to Tall Tales. And there are 12 contestants just walked in too. We have 12, count them. 10,
Wow.
12 contestants today. This is going to be quite a contest. Before we
Hey, Joan.
begin,
Good
though,
morning.
I want to recognize the dignitaries who have joined us today. All of you! Yeah! But our Sergeant at Arms today is also our Division A Director, Lisa Cease. And as I said, we're all dignitaries here. Now, as most of you know, and for those of you who are new, speech contests are an important part of the Toastmaster educational program because they provide an opportunity for Toastmasters to gain additional speaking experience. And when you're going up against some really proficient speakers, what does it do? It brings your skill levels up like that. So I applaud all 12 of our contestants who have decided to participate today. I want you to know that today's table topic contest winner will move on to the Area A3, A4 contest, which is going to be on March 12th in Scotts Valley. Even if you don't win, hopefully you will decide to come out and help in that contest. And if you do win, and you win that contest, you'll move on to the Division A contest, which will be April 23rd in Watsonville. If you manage to get that one under your belt, there's the District 4 Conference, which will be held at the Spring District 4 Conference on May 14th in South San Francisco. Pretty cool to go. Someone from this club to go all the way to District. Now, if a club area or division contest winner is unable to participate in the next contest level, the highest placed available contestant will advance. I was second place at the evaluation contest for the Aptos Club. I was represented at the area, and I won that, and then I won the division, and I was able to go to the district. So even if you don't win today, you may still move on, depending on everyone's schedules, to be able to make these other contests. Well, enough from me. Let's get this show on the road, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yes?
Yeah.
I'd like to introduce today's Table Topics Contest Toastmaster, Sherry Ross.
I'll begin with an overview of the Table Topics contest procedures for the benefit of our guests and newer members. Table topics are short, impromptu speeches in response to a question or topic, which test the ability to speak on a given subject without advance notice. So congratulations to all you risk takers, all 12 of you that are in our contest this morning. All contestants will receive the same topic, meaning the same question, and the judges will choose the winning table topic speech. When the contest begins, the Sergeant-at-Arms will escort all contestants except the first from the room. Once the other contestants are in a designated area where they cannot hear the proceedings, I will introduce the first contestant. I'll read the topic to the first contestant, repeat it again, and the contestant will speak on that topic for 1 to 2 minutes. After each contestant has finished, the Sergeant-at-Arms will retrieve the next contestant. After delivering their speech, contestants may stay in the room. No one else will be allowed in or out of the room during the table topics speeches. There will be 1 minute of silence after each contestant for the judges to mark their ballots. After the final contestant, I'll ask for silence until the judges are finished ranking the contestants and the counters have collected all the ballots. The speaking area is set as follows: anywhere inside the arranged tables. So this is very similar to what our regular meetings are. Anywhere in this area is allowed for the contestants to answer the question. To eliminate any perception of bias, I'll introduce each contestant in the same way. Contestant number, name, topic, and name again. The speaking order has been chosen randomly by drawing lots, and I'll announce the order now. You may want to mark your program with the contestant numbers. Number 1 is John Axel Hansen. Number 2 is Janet Jansen. Number 3 is Jim Tedson. Number 4 is Scott Bradley. Number 5 is Nancy Geary. Number 6 is Kate Munch. Number 7 is Curtis Rutherford. Number 8, Megan McKenzie. Number 9, Joan Staffen. Number 10, Jake Eschen. Number 11, Vicky Asunto. And finally, Joe Bertola, number 12. I would now like to introduce our chief judge for this morning, the lovely Pat Garcia.
Thank you. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
If you listen closely, particularly contestants, you're going to hear much of this a second time. And I think the most critical thing, of course, is a member. In order to compete, you have to be a member in good standing and a club in good standing. And we all know this is a club in great standing, so you are all already great. When the contest begins, you will get escorted out of the room, as I believe Jerry went over, so that all the contestants who are not number 1 will be across the way. They will be called in after the 1 minute of silence. The judges need that 1 minute of silence to do their ballot, especially today because we have so many to tally. After they have finished, then that contestant will be able to stay in the room, and then the process will repeat. The speaking area, our Toastmaster already went over. Timing is the critical thing in something like this. At 1 minute, you will see the green light. At 1.5 minutes, you will see the amber light. At 2 minutes, you will see the red light. When you see the red light, you better be closing because you will not be told when your 30 seconds of grace period comes up. So remember, green at 1, amber at 1.5 minutes, and red at 2 minutes. If you go over 2 minutes and 31 seconds, you are automatically disqualified. If you are under 1 minute, you are automatically disqualified. In the event of a technical failure, let's say one of the light bulbs didn't go on, that contestant will get a 30-second grace period. So the timer will be the person who will verify that situation. We will have a tiebreaker judge. That ballot won't be used unless there is a tie. The results will be announced and time qualifications may occur if the names of the contestants who have gone over or under is not announced. Judges are instructed not to consider timing in their rank of contestants. So don't worry about what the timer's doing, judges. You need to just judge. Focus on that. Protests can be heard only and entered only by contestants or by the judges, and they would come to me or the contest chair, and that would be before announcing any winners. Once the results have been announced, all decisions are final. The second runner-up will be the contestant if our first place winner is not able to vote on March 12th. Timers and ballot counters have been briefed, and all are qualified to do their roles. Are there any questions? Tom?
Well, just one point of order for all of you who are judging. Be sure to sign your ballots and put a first, second, and third place afterwards. If you don't sign it, it won't count. And we want everyone's ballot to count.
And in this case, because we have 12 contestants, we will announce a third place winner. If the contest is less than 5, there's only a first and second. But we have a full house. So good luck, contestants. I know you're all doing your best. Madam Joseph.
It's time to begin the contest! So folks will be, everyone is going to go to the holding area except for John Axel Hansen.
See through the window what's happening.
Those who can lip read.
Micah, could you shut the door all the way?
I have a question. Do I bring John up here, or do I ask the question from here and then bring him up?
You ask the question from here and then it comes up.
Okay. Are we ready? Are you ready? Contestant number 1, John Axel Hansen. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth?
John Axel Hansen.
John Axel Hansen.
Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, almost guest. Personal growth. When I was 15, I was 5'6", and I had blonde hair. Believe it or not. And I grew to 6'3" when I was 16. Is that personal growth? No, not really. I was 135 pounds when I was 5'6". I was 135 pounds when I was 6'3". I was skinny. I was really skinny. Personal growth. My father, called Johan Hansen, took pity on me and started giving me exercise. I could lift weights, pull-up bar, boxing bag, all those things. I got up to 195. 206 when I met my wife, Judy. That's when I started to grow. I met my future wife. I was 22. The luckiest night of my life was meeting her April 18th, 1970. It was the anniversary of the 1906 earthquake in San Francisco. The smartest thing I ever did was marry her. It was the 9th of February, 44 years ago. She took me to Macy's and showed me the ring. I walk away. Look at her, she's crying. We bought the ring. Women love that story. Personal growth. I had to grow up. I had to be an adult. I've been trying to become an adult for the last 44 plus years. I owe all of my wife, Judy. Madam Toastman.
We'll have 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots.
Timer. Ken, you want to turn the light on?
Contestant number 2,
Jerry, wait till the light goes off. Now you know.
contestant number 2, Janet Jansen. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? Janet Jansen.
Good day, fellow Toastmasters. This is a great question for me, and I'm really excited that you asked me. The greatest day of growth for me, and let me tell you why and how I'm going to feel about that, it was 60 years old. I had realized that finally, here I was, a woman at 60 years old, struggling with computers, struggling with databases, hating social media. It drove me crazy. There were times when I took an Excel class at Cabrillo College, and there I am trying to read the instructions in the book. All I could do was wail and cry because I couldn't get what button are they talking about on the computer. I sobbed. My poor husband got to hear every curse word that I had to say. I realized that as a business entrepreneur, if I was going to succeed, I had to really accept who I was, my strengths and my weaknesses. And so here is what I did. Like Tara in the movie Gone with the Wind, I raised my hand and I said, you are not a victim. If you want to be successful in your life, honey, you got to get in the game. And I did. I started embracing this idea that I could still learn. I'd already proven that I'm not stupid. I can read, I can learn, I can ask for help. I can do the things that you want to do. So here's what I want to say. Never, ever, ever give up. It's never too late to learn. If I can do it at 60, and now I am a little bit older, anyone can do it. I really thank you for this opportunity. And you know what? Keep growing.
Contestant number 3, Jim Tedson. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? Jim Tedson.
When in my life have I experienced my most personal growth? I would probably say it would be when I had my children. Being the most important things in my life, I would say when those boys were born, it was the most important thing in my life. It taught me responsibility. It taught me how to love another person. It taught me responsibility. It taught me how to become a father, which I think is a cherished thing that men have the opportunity to do. My boys now are 21 and 23. And I really cherish the moments we had when they were little. I look back when I see other fathers and their children, and I just wish I was back in those moments because they're so special. I almost tear up sometimes missing those moments because I really, really enjoyed that time. I mean, they looked up to me as a father. As everybody knows, I'm a snow skier and had the ski business here in Santa Cruz for many, many years. And my most favorite time with those boys was riding the chairlift. And one on one side, one on the other. And they would ask me questions about skiing, ask me questions about snow, ask me everything about life. And I was their hero at that time. So it was very, very nice. I really enjoyed that for sure. So I would say that'd be the most important thing to me is having my two boys. And I'm very fortunate to be a father. Thank you all.
Contestant number 4, Scott Bradley. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? Scott Bradley.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. When I started into the workforce, I was just out of college. And previously, while I was going to school, I was working in bike shops. And I was doing odd jobs, working for tree services, doing grunt work. I was at San Jose State. I got my degree. And I got an opportunity to go into real estate appraising. So I was an appraiser, and that was great because I was out in the field, I was doing a lot of different things. The market crashed, I got out of that. That was a wake-up call. Actually, I cried after I lost my first job. I then went back to school. I got into some learning how to do, working on computer systems. And from there, my personal growth, the trajectory just kept going higher and higher. I was able to get into leadership positions, a team lead, a technical lead as well. And that was really where I started to enjoy some great personal growth. Now, everything's kind of come full circle. I'm still doing what I love, and by joining this club has put me to the next level as far as my ability to communicate effectively to my friends, families, my peers at work, and the general population as a whole. So my personal growth as a whole has been elevated from the time I was in school to now, and that's all I have to say.
Work my way in.
Contestant number 5, Nancy Geary. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? Nancy Geary.
July 4th, 2014, I took a huge step. I sat in an Al-Anon meeting and I listened to 5 different women talk about where they were in their journeys with their husbands. People who were trying to figure out how to make it work and live with an alcoholic, to people that had been divorced for 20 years. And I sat there and I asked myself the question, what is it going to take for this man to change? What do I have to do to get this man to change? And a big awakening happened. I realized that I had been asking myself the wrong question. The question was, what is it going to take for me to change? The next day, I followed through on the threat that I had made multiple times. I packed a suitcase, I walked out the door, and I lived with friends for 2 months. And I solved one problem after another. What do I do with the house? What do I do about my job? What do I do about my dogs? Every day, I looked at what's in front of me, right here, right now, solved that problem, moved on to the next problem. That was the first time in my life that I was able to balance planning, thinking about a new future for myself with what's right here in front of me. What's the problem I need to solve today so that I can continue to move down this path. It was a huge shift for me because I had lived 30 years in the context of what someone else thought life should be like, of what someone else thought Nancy should be. And on July 4th, I took the step to create my own context to be what Nancy's going to be.
Contestant number 6, Kate Munch. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? Kate Munch.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters. I'm lying in bed. It's a dark, cold spring morning, and I hear, what? There'd been tornadoes, anything was possible, but something told me, just get out of bed and go look, and I ran downstairs, threw open the door, looked up, and it was a hot air balloon, clearing the top of the house by about that much. Oh my goodness, I didn't even stop to think. I ran upstairs, I got my 3-year-old out of the bed, threw a robe around him, a robe around me, and we ran. We followed that hot air balloon as it flew gently to this little pocket handkerchief of a park. There it was, giant. I've always been fascinated by them, but never ridden in any. And I watched as it picked up somebody's take somewhere. Do you know they're huge? And there's the whole park was surrounded by young families in pajamas. This is something I don't do. I don't run to parks early in the morning. And I went home thinking about balloons. I researched everything I could find out about balloons, and then I had the idea of a story, and I wrote the story and I submitted it somewhere, and to this date, it's one of the only pieces of fiction that Balloon Life magazine has ever published. Do it! I leaped. This was outside of my comfort zone. I leaped. You don't know where it's going to take you. Maybe it'll take you like it took me, up in a balloon. Thank you.
Contestant number 7, Curtis Relaford. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? Curtis Rutherford.
Oh my God, I'm glad you asked me that question. Personal growth. It was a PSI seminar, and they told me to go out there and follow my dream. Find that dream, follow that dream, stay intact. I got on the stage when Jack Kenfield was up there. Jack Kenfield, 2,000 people, 1,000 people saw working this group. I'm sitting way in the back. I'm feeling a little low self-esteem. Oh, these doctors and lawyers and psychologists up in here. Oh, Kurt, don't say nothing to them, they're gonna embarrass you. And Jack Kenfield is up there. If you got a dream, come up. I want you to share your dream and put your dream out there and let everybody know what you're doing. I got up and went halfway the room. Ooh, no. And embarrass yourself. You committing a felony if you don't follow your heart. I folded up a piece of paper and I got up in front. Mr. Kenfield, you asked somebody to share their vision a minute ago and you didn't have time. Sir, I'm gonna have a heart attack up in here if you don't let me share my vision. He said, well, come on up, son. He pulled me up. No. He, give him the mic, give him the mic. And that's when everything got peace quiet. You could hear a pin drop. When he said that, then they gave me the mic. I didn't know how to use the mic. Gave me the mic and I'm, Mr. Kenfield, you asked somebody to share their vision a minute ago and you didn't have time. I'm gonna have a heart attack up in here if you don't let me share my vision. And that's when he, give me the mic, pull him up here. They pulled me up on the stage. I got up on the stage. I told him why I did that. He greeted me, 2 men on the stage hugging, crying with tears in their eyes. Go ahead, share the vision. And I got up on the front and I'm sharing my vision. And all these folks that just keep coming to me and I thought it was their phone number. These folks were giving me, they gave me $1,300 in 3 minutes. They gave me 2 standing ovations and told me to go out there and follow my dream. I've been doing it ever since. Thank God for the vision.
All right.
Contestant number 8, Megan McKenzie. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? Megan McKenzie.
Good morning, Toastmasters and most welcome guests. This is an amazing question, and I'm so glad that you asked it, Jerry. The time that I've experienced the most personal growth is honestly when I decided to go to Canada for 4 years. I had always been homesick when I went to summer camp. By day 2, I would be crying to the counselor saying, take me home, I want to go home. So when I told my mom I wanted to go to Canada for 4 years, she couldn't believe it. She said, you couldn't have picked a farther location. Are you sure you're going to be okay? And for some reason, everything just clicked for me. And I knew that I was going to be okay. And I knew that this was going to be the time for most growth. It was time for that little shy girl to come out and become the woman I am today, where you can't get me to be quiet anymore. And maybe that's not a good thing, but who knows. Canada really did change me for the better. Of course, I was shy during freshman week, but as the years went by and the more friends I accumulated, and then pushing towards going and doing Toastmasters in Canada, really, really was the next and final step for the biggest growth in my life, because that's when I really, really found that I went from still being that shy girl to now being able to walk up to a stranger and say, "Hi, my name's Megan. Want to be friends?" So, yes, Canada. I have Canada to thank, and I will always hold Canada so near and dear to my heart. I think that's why I have a tattoo on my leg, because of Canada. I just love it, and it was really those 4 years I couldn't have grown anymore. So that is when I have grown. Thank you.
Contestant number 9, Joan Staffen. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? Joan Staffen.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I would have to say, and I'm actually sorry to say, but it has been during difficult times. And I would never wish difficult times on anyone. Probably it was when my husband was first diagnosed with brain cancer. I would not wish this on anybody. And it was a long process. He was only 47 years old. He was healthy. He ate health foods. He ran in marathons. And one day he was in the middle of a sales meeting and he had a seizure. I was at the other end of the building and I was called. And I had never seen anyone have a seizure before. And I thought he was dying in that moment. Luckily, there was a person in the room who actually knew what was going on and kind of helped us in those very first moments. And that really began kind of the saddest experience of my whole life. So it was a year and a half, and it was just really traumatic. But it was during that year and a half, we lived in a small town, Boulder Creek. We had lots of people around us. We had a church, we had a fellowship. And through all these people, we had a doctor who lived on the corner, we had a nurse across the street. We were able to somehow live the last year and a half of his life. We went to Hawaii, Alaska. We had our goodbyes, and we survived, and then afterwards the healing process began. But I grew a lot during that process, and from that, and I would never wish that on anyone ever again. Thank you so much.
Contestant number 10, Jake Eschen. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? Jake Eschen.
Thank you, Jerry. Fellow Toastmasters. John walked out on me. I like to think that I'm always growing. I had an aunt many years ago who was looking towards the end of her life, and she was complaining about all the stupid things that she had done when she was a child. I said, well, I hope you think the things you did when you were, not when she was a child, when she was younger, I hope you think those things you did when you were younger were stupid, because you hadn't, that meant you haven't grown any since then. But when I experienced the most personal growth in my life was actually when I was in high school. I spent a month in Honduras. I was living in a village and going out to the enormous surrounding areas giving vaccinations. We would go, sometimes we'd walk, sometimes we'd ride a mule. Mules, by the way, I always knew as soon as I got on that I had never been on one before. And we had to do it. So if it was raining, or if our guide didn't show up, or if there were no available mules, we still had to go. There were no excuses. There was no incomplete. There was no, I'll put it off until tomorrow. Because we had a schedule we had to meet. We could wake up and say, oh, I don't want to do this, let's not do it. But we have to. One day, I sat in a city hall giving vaccinations for 10 hours straight. I had to do it. And that, I realized, was what being alive was all about.
Contestant number 11, Vicky Asanto. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? Vicky Asanto.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Personal growth. What an interesting question that is. I think back to a time when I was ending a relationship with my last ex-boyfriend. That year, I had gone to Peru. I had seen Machu Picchu, I had traveled, I even got blessed by a shaman. It was an amazing year. I traveled with my friend Linda. Also that year, I had the opportunity to go to Burning Man. Oh my gosh, how many of you have been to Burning Man? I see not many of you. That's okay, there's still a chance to go to Burning Man. Well, it is this wild extravaganza in the desert. And yes, there are some people that are naked, close your son's ears, naked, and they run around in costumes and everything else. And at that same time, I was not so sure I was wanting to still be in my relationship with my boyfriend. And he's a good guy, we are still friends today. And at that point I thought, been married to 3 men, ending my relationship with my last boyfriend, maybe the gender of women is not such a bad idea. So, there was a telephone dating service. And oh my gosh, I called and I listened to all of these brave people saying what they liked, what they wanted. Oh, and if it was like if you were a man wanting a man, you push this number, and a woman wanting a woman, you push this number. And then one day, I left my message. And I was so scared. I was like a giddy little child. And then someone called. I met her. She was not my type. But guess what? We are celebrating 18 years of being together. And let me tell you, it's no easier. A man, a woman. I really love my dogs. They are the best, because they don't talk.
Dogs are bad. Oh my God.
Our final contestant, contestant number 12, Joe Ritola. When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? When in your life have you experienced the most personal growth? Joe Ritola.
Well, that's a very personal question, of course, but that's also a very on-time question, because that moment is right here, right now, today. I have gone through a tremendous amount in the last 1.5 to 2 years of my life. I graduated from chiropractic school. I moved away from everything that I had known, the entire side of the country I had known, to move here to California where I knew absolutely no one, to start a practice, to go through the growth that it requires to learn how to represent myself professionally and personally to people, to get them to understand what it means to trust me enough to place my hands on their body and to actually help lead them back towards health. And along the way, I have stumbled, I have bruised myself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. I have gone through by far the most growth that I have ever gone through in my life, or could have even imagined that I could have gone through. This process has been very, very difficult. It's been very, very painful. There's been a tremendous amount of transition. There's been a tremendous amount of difficulty in interacting with people, learning who I am again after leaving behind who I was. And even now, I'm going through a tremendous transition in my marriage, in my personal life, with my family, with my profession. And for the last month or two, I've been very much in the middle, in mid-air, trying to figure out who I am, where I'm going, and who I really want to be. And just this morning, I had a phone call that I had with a doctor who practices in the British Virgin Islands. And it's very likely that I'm going to be moving down there to practice with him. So I still don't know. I'm still in the middle, but that's okay. Transition is okay, growth is okay, and I'm certainly happy to have been able to go through this experience with everyone in this room and to feel the support that Toastmasters has given me. And I'm really excited to see what this next chapter is going to bring. Thank you.
When you have finished judging with your ballots, please raise them in the air so they can be collected. Be sure and sign your ballots for them to be counted. Has everyone turned in their ballot, their signed ballot? I I would like now to call up all the contestants in the order in which you spoke, starting with number 1 down here, and I will award you a certificate of participation. Come on up. Let's give a big round of applause to all of our contestants. So let's see, number 1 is here, and number 12 is at the other end. Let's hold your applause until the end.
I'm just
John
looking.
Axel Hansen. Thank you for participating. Janet Jansen. Thank you for participating.
Yes.
Jim Tedson. Thank you for participating. Scott Bradley. Thank you for participating. Nancy Geary. Thank you for participating. Kate Munch. Thank you for participating. Curtis Rellifer. Thank you. Hallelujah. Megan McKenzie, thank you for participating. Joan Staffen, thank you for participating. Jake Eschen, thank you for participating.
My pleasure.
Vicky Asunto.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for participating. And Joe Ritola, thank you so much for participating. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much. You may all have a seat. As we wait for the ballots to be counted and we determine our winners for this morning. It appears that we do have a couple of moments before the results come in. And I'm now going to ask a question of those individuals who did not participate. We're going to have a table topics section. Yay! Yay! Imagine that. If you could transform, I'm going to start again. If you could transform and become anyone else in the world for 1 week, who would that be and why? Micah.
Well, thank you for that question. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking being up talking after such an amazing display. I really was impressed. Being a judge was traumatic in that. But I think the answer for me is clear. The person that I would transform into for 1 week would be Vicky. Because if I could have the amount of light and enthusiasm that shines out of Vicky for 1 week, I would be able to carry that throughout the rest of my life. So I just want to thank you, Vicky, for bringing that every day and for really making me and everyone that you encounter a better person and a happier person. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to ask the same question to everyone. If you could transform and become anyone else in the world for 1 week, who would that be and why? Aurora.
Thank you for the question. That's a good question. If I could transform to be anyone for 1 week, it would probably be my mother. She's someone that after 28 years I still don't understand. And I think that if I were to be transformed into her, I would be able to maybe see how she sees the world, how she sees me, how she sees my family. And I think that definitely a week would be just enough. And that way I could truly understand the woman who birthed me, the woman who raised me, and the woman who continues to be in my life, but that no one quite understands fully.
Great, thank you so much. If you could transform and become anyone else in the world for 1 week, who would that be and why? David.
I would want to be Donald Trump, okay? I would say the most outlandish things and get away with it. I would be misogynistic. I would be bigoted. I would just like let my mouth slather all over the place, okay? And get away with it all the way. And then I would pull out of the race. At the last minute. I'd be the last minute pull out, all right? Just for entertainment value. I might even get back in, but since Donald Trump is so entertaining, he's just so near and dear to my heart. He's got to be the sleaziest presidential candidate that we've ever had. And to think that he's the GOP front runner is just, oh my God, it just made the GOP as relevant as they're ever going to be again in the future. They're the party of the past, the grand old party. Thank you, Donald Trump.
If you could transform and become anyone else in the world for 1 week, who would that be and why? Anne.
Fellow Toastmasters and Table Topic Master. The first person that popped into my head when you asked that question was the Pope. And I'm not exactly sure why, because I think that would be a really hard job. But I think the idea of seeing the world and actually being able to influence it in a spiritual way would be an absolutely profound thing. And maybe it's because I so honor the Pope we have right now in what it is he's doing, how he's trying to influence so many things in so many countries and so many policies. I think that that would be a fascinating opportunity to be in a place of such power and to just experience it and then step back and be humbled by the rest of my life.
Thank you. If you could transform and become anyone else in the world for 1 week, who would that be and why? Gary.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. It's nice to see all of you after it's been a long 2 months. As far as I think the person that I would like to transform into is my grandma. She actually just recently passed away on Christmas Day. And I was like her favorite grandson. And it would be a great opportunity to actually see from her eyes her lessons, the things that she instilled in myself and her brothers and sisters and everyone else that she affected in her lifetime. And that's who I would choose. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could transform and become anyone else in the world for 1 week, who would that be and why? Stevie.
Good morning, Toastmaster and honored guests. The first person came up to my mind is Mother Teresa. If I can just transform myself into Mother Teresa for 1 week and learn the unconditional love she spread in the world, I think I can become a better person. And I think I can make a bigger difference in other people's life. I think the world will be a better place because I'm still alive. She's gone and I can carry on her torch and spread the love. So there's nobody else I can think of but her. I hope every single day I can grow to be more and more like her and spread love all around me. And let everything I say and do create more joy, happiness, and value and wealth to all around me, just like her. I admire her so much. Thank you so much for asking that question.
Thank you. like to bring up our contest chair, Tom Ginsberg.
Thank you, Jerry. Well, it was a great contest. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Oh, we have some winners to announce. But before we do that, I just want to say we had the best and most awesome team here today. What a great job by our Toastmaster, Jerry Ross. Our Chief Judge, Pat Garcia. Our ballot counters, Susie Osborne and David Bush. Timers, Ken Braley and Emily Nonson. Our contest Sergeant-at-Arms, Lisa Cease. And all of you, contestants, judges, guests, helpers, thanks to our newest member, Aurora Lowe, as of today, new member. Sean Ginsberg for helping out today.
All right.
Again, thanks everybody, and we have some winners to announce. I have to make one announcement. There was one contestant disqualified because of time. This question that was chosen by these ladies, was it personal growth? We witnessed it here today by every person who spoke. It was amazing. Thanks for that question. It just totally fit our theme. Let's announce some winners, huh?
Yeah.
Third place, Joe Bertola. Second place, Kate Munch. Like I said, these were all wonderful speeches. There was a lot of personal growth here. Our number one speaker, first place, Vicky Assunta. Stay up here. Vicky will go on to represent our club at the Area A3, A4 contest on March 13th. If she's
12.
Thank you, March 12th. If for some reason Vicky is not able to attend, then our second place winner, Kate, would represent our club, or in the event that both of them would be able to attend, Joe would be our third place and our next runner-up. I want to thank everybody for a wonderful contest, especially these ladies for putting up with my obsessive compulsive behavior, which you're all very firmly aware of. Again, congratulations to everybody who participated. And now, I don't have to look too far to turn the meeting back over to our president, first place winner.
But everybody get together.
Oh, here we go.
All right. Beautiful. 1, 2. One more. Oh,
Thank you. I was going to say that might be the quietest the three of us have ever been. Well, wow, let's give, again, a warm welcome to all that participated, all that organized, and Jack, the videographer.
Yeah, let's hear it for the videographer.
I didn't hear the other 10 contestants, but I know that it was great because you all look very happy and enthused. So thank you all for being here and holding the space. Are there any announcements? Yes, Ken.
2 weeks from today, we're having our international speech contest.
which is a prepared contest. It's one you can't just show up and be given a topic at the last minute. I asked Megan and Lynn just to say briefly, because they were our contestants last year for the Tall Tales contest and the humorous speech contest, and went on as first-time contestants to the next level. Megan, what was your experience of being in a contest and speaking multiple times?
Freaking uplift my career. I won't lie, it is a little jarring to talk, because you get so comfortable talking to these wonderful, beautiful faces. So it's a little nerve-wracking at first, but honestly, another personal growth moment. I mean, I can't say enough of how important it is to push yourself to that next level, because yeah, you do get scared, but as soon as you get out there and you start rolling with it, it is so much fun. And it's kind of cool to see how a different reaction that this new audience has. So it is really fun. Yes, it's a little nerve-wracking, but another great opportunity for personal growth. And really, if you're thinking about it, please just do it, because it's a great experience. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Likewise. It is both fun and terrifying. But it's that same thing. It's that aspect of being able to develop something that you're working on, knowing that it's a new audience, knowing that you don't know, and then learning from, I mean, this is a high level of competition, and you learn so much from the other contestants and what they do and do not do, and then afterwards, what you did and did not do. It is so worthwhile to your growth in Toastmasters and what you're here for. Go.
Let me finish. So it's a prepared speech. You must have completed 6 projects in the Competent Communicator Manual in order to compete in this contest. If you're interested, let me know. You can use a speech that you've done before, especially if you've had one that you thought was received very well and you'd like to practice and work on it again. So I'll be in touch, and let me know if you'd like to be part of the contest.
Thank you, Ken, and Megan, and Lynn. Any other announcements? No? All right, help with tables if you're able to. And again, welcome Aurora, being a new member. Congratulations. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Go out there and kiss and hug somebody you don't know.